Jumping pixels in the neon night. A dabble here, a dabble there, it feels so right. Annie's got the joystick leading the fight. Level up, laughs till the morning light. Walks on Wednesdays, press start to play. It's a dabble in chaos, a game buffet. Dabble one up, don't delay. Walks on Wednesdays, it's the highlight of the day. Control yourself, no rage quitting here. With Annie's jokes, the lag disappears. Pixelated dreams, 8-bit cheer. Every Wednesday night, the fun is clear. From Mario's pipes to a portal's twist, it's a gaming galaxy you won't wanna miss. Walks on Wednesdays, press start to play. It's a dabble in chaos, a game buffet. Grab a one up, don't delay. Walks on Wednesdays, it's the highlight of the day. Coins are clinking, hearts are sinking, and it's quick wit has us thinking. A dabble dash, a power up dash, warping through worlds in a pixel flash.
Well, welcome back to the Warp Zone, Annie's weekly wrap-up where me, Annie, wraps up my week and tells you what I've been up to and what I'm going to be getting up to real soon. Good to see ya. As always, we'll be joined by producer Spurg Snake. Good to see you, Snake. How you doing tonight? Or this morning, I mean.
This morning, yeah. Well, afternoon, I suppose. In my case, it's 2. I'm doing well. Happy Halloweeny.
Happy Halloween. Obviously, I'm a little dressed up for it. I have a couple different masks over the next couple days during or after I work, obviously, when I'm streaming. I'll be wearing a couple of these different masks that I have, depending on what Megan's doing, for sure. I might be wearing a mask during WATP tonight. We'll see. Just because I think it's cool. She says, what is this? Oh, yes, I forgot. Yes, it's the Warp Zone, episode number 4. So, wrapping up my week, letting y'all know what's going on. But if you didn't notice, I missed 2 streams this week because I have been upgrading my current PC and putting together a secondary PC because I'm upgrading my whole setup to a 2 PC setup. So the first night was due to technical limitations on my computer because I was overloading it and NVIDIA doesn't support what I was trying to do. So I had to downscale a little bit and split it between 2 systems, which is fine because I have plenty of parts. It just required a little bit of effort on my part because some of the hardware is old, and like old, I mean like 10 years old, like not ancient, but you know, in computer parts, that's forever. So the CPU specifically does not like Windows 11, or more specifically, Microsoft has marked that CPU as ineligible for Windows 11. However, according to all benchmarks and tests and on all paper, my CPU that's in that computer can and should run Windows 11 with no issue, or little to no issue. Maybe a little bit of like load lag or whatever here or there because it's an older CPU, sure, whatever. But it is not actually incompatible with Windows 11. Microsoft just says, nah, don't put it on that one. So I had to get a bypass kind of installer program called Rufus, which I had never heard of, but apparently it's been around forever. It's just, I've never needed it before because I've always just had a legitimate and easy way to install Windows. So this actually threw a roadblock at me, and I was going to install Windows 10 if it didn't, because I still, Windows 10 is fine. It just has lost official support, and I personally really like Windows 11, other than the taskbar, which is typically at the bottom of your screen. I move it to the top, which you can't do by default on Windows 11, so I had to download a program to allow it to become more like Windows 10 taskbar, where it's also movable and stuff. Because since I've ever had my own computer, like my taskbar at the top. That's just me.
I also have my taskbar at the top. Also, I'm very illegitimate. Yeah, I know. When you brought up Rufus, I was like, oh wow, I remember that. Like, I think I told you, like, it's cool because you can boot from a flash drive, and you could take it with you. So when you leave your house, nobody can boot your computer because your operating system
doesn't have an operating system. Yeah.
So
that's cool. It's like literally a physical
ways.
key to your computer, which is cool. Because even if somebody knows your password, you know, unless they have their own Windows to go, they aren't going to be able to boot your computer because it doesn't have an operating system. Pretty interesting.
Or you and I can have separate operating systems and use the same hardware independently. Like I could walk in and plug my USB into your setup and be able to use your rig right like that without interfering with anything of yours. You know what I mean? So unless I reconfigure hardware. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting things you can do with that.
Yeah, so I had to go through and for the most part, I was using ChatGPT to help me reassemble a couple of the things and like test what error codes were instead of looking through MSI manuals and stuff like that. ChatGPT could just pull it a little bit faster. It, of course, being an AI, is slightly inaccurate on some things. One of them being on the motherboard that I'm reassembling, it has 4 channels for RAM, which are color-coded. There's 2 gray channels and 2 black channels. On the motherboard, there's physically text printed telling you which channels are which, and then above that, there's a little tiny diagram pointing to which channels you should use first, and clearly label use first, which are the black channels on that particular motherboard. ChatGPT was telling me, you want to put them in the gray slots because those are the first slots. And I said, I don't think that's true. Here's a picture, and you tell me that I'm wrong based on this picture. And they said, no, I'm wrong. MSI occasionally switches the configuration on that, and there's misconstruing information online, so I incorrectly read or whatever it said. I was just like, yeah, I knew you were wrong about that because it's printed on the motherboard, and I doubt the motherboard is wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to confirm, like for my own sake, like channel 1 has 48 gigs of RAM and channel 2 has 48 gigs of RAM, right? You have it split evenly.
On which computer?
Not like your main computer.
No.
The 96.
My main computer in the first slots are the 2 32s equaling 64, and then in the other secondary slots are the 2 16s equaling 32.
Okay, I'm not trying to be confusing, but if that might be why you're booting up slow, why it hangs on boot.
It was doing that before. It was doing that when I installed the graphics card before I installed the RAM, and it still was slower boot.
It is the graphics card.
I think it's literally just the graphics card booting up because it's a big fucking graphics card. Whereas the other one was like 40% the size, so
okay.
It's booted up almost instantly because it only had 2 fans, half the like size of the internal chipset and everything like that. So I'm assuming the hang time is it literally testing the card and booting it up and making sure it's powered even. Because after that, it runs fine. I've not noticed any hiccuping or stuttering. The stream went well. Everything seems to be running fine, as long as it's stuff that's optimized well. I noticed that Red Dead runs really well if it's in windowed full screen. However, it's coded badly, and if you go in and out of the windowed full screen, if you're using an HDR monitor, which I am, it can mess with your HDR setting and randomly turn it off so your entire monitor loses like 80% brightness, which is really annoying when you're trying to switch between your chat and your game. So I tried it in windowed mode because, I was like, okay, well, then it's not going to run into that issue as much trying to like switch focus, and it worked fine for the HDR setting, but the frame rate got completely tanked and like capped at 22 FPS. And I'm like, okay, so that's not a solution. So I'll put it back in windowed full screen, and I think I'm just gonna have to not highlight chats when I'm playing Red Dead, because it seems to be an issue, at least while I'm running on the solo computer right now. It'll run really smooth on the main screen, but then here on OBS, the little preview will be like 8 FPS. It'll look like crap, but then on the stream preview, it seems to be running fine. So it's like my local encoder is being overloaded, but it's still being outputted just fine. And I don't want that to be a problem at all, so I'm going to split this, the computers from an OBS machine and my gaming computer. I don't know exactly how I'm going to finalize the setup. I'm doing it kind of as I go because I've never done anything like this, and I don't know anyone that has a similar setup to ask for advice. So it's been a learning experience.
It's difficult. Like, I would be more than happy to be in the room helping you. It's difficult. That's why I was talking about the RAM a little bit. It should be split up evenly, so that way the first channel has 48 and the second channel has 48, and not asynchronous with 64 and then 32. When it's mismatched like that, the computer will still work. It's called flex mode. It might be running just a smidge slower, but if you're not noticing any hiccups or any problem, I wouldn't worry about it so much. If it ain't broken, don't fix it, kind of thing. But it could be a little better, I think. That's why I showed you that picture. It's weird to understand. Like, your 32 cards should have been every other slot even to begin with. Like, it should have been channel A 32,
that's
channel
how it
B
is.
32.
So two for most of them is number 1. So channel 2A and channel 2B are both the 64, the new ones. And then the channel 1A and 1B, which are the secondary channels, despite they're labeled 1, are the ones that came with the computer, so the 32 sticks. So I have
Okay, no, you're
64
right,
in the new
it's
in
correct.
the alpha slots and 32 in the beta slots.
Okay, perfect. Yep, that is correct. That's what I was trying to understand that just to be sure, because that is balanced. Then there's technically 48 in one channel and 48 in the other, despite how it's written on the board. I promise you.
Yeah, because
It's
there's
so
48
goofy.
on A1 and A2 and 48 on B1 and B2.
Correct.
Yes, and with the other computer, it initially had 16 gigabytes of 3200 speed, but the motherboard is not rated for that, so it's automatically underclocking itself. So if I was going to actually upgrade that, I need a new motherboard, but that's not. I don't need that much. I don't need that much RAM speed, at least right now. We'll figure it out after I have OBS running on the dual setup and everything, and we'll see where the like the bottlenecks and everything are, if there is any. But it already had 16, and while I was at the store picking up a hard drive for it, which I was looking for a solid state SATA because they're cheap, and who the hell is this? Where's Annie? Who? The hard drives are like dirt cheap usually for like 1 terabyte SATA, especially if you want a hard drive, but Micro Center doesn't really sell hard drives anymore. It's all like SSD types. I mean, at least on the shelf.
M2s,
I think you
right,
can order.
right.
I think you can order them, but yeah, M2s, M.2s, and the actual like SATA SSDs. They don't really sell like HDDs anymore. At least on the shelf where I was looking. But right next to the one I was about to buy, there was an M.2 for the exact same price for the exact same size, and I'm like, why wouldn't I get 4 times speed? Like, it's the same fucking price. As long as the board has an M.2 slot, which it does, I would be retarded to get the regular one now, because this is a completely better option for the same price. So I picked up that one, and it freed up the SATA cable, which already was in that computer, which is really handy because that other computer case has a disk drive in it. And I do actually have disks and stuff that I would like to read a disk drive with. So I plugged in the peripheral cable and the SATA cable, and now my disk drive's up and running. And I confirmed it was still working just fine because I dusted off disks from the early 90s, and they work, or they at least read. It wouldn't let me install them because of architecture. The ones older than that, like 98 and older, would let me install, but that's just because Windows architecture has changed so much that you can't install, at least easily. You can't easily install and run a 16-bit on a 64-bit.
To be clear, it's the installer that doesn't want to run, not the game.
Yeah, because the game's just
game
files.
is on the disk. Well, see, that's what I was just going to say. We'll talk about it afterwards, too. I think you might be able to just rip the files from the disk and then run the exe that's on. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, I mean, there might be a couple of options. Otherwise, there's hardware emulators, as you've mentioned. So at least there's options for those other things. If not, then I will, eventually just resort to finding like a pirate copy of it or whatever. But I want to avoid that if and when possible. So
you can make a copy of your disk.
Right, but like I said, I don't necessarily want to do any of that. I would like it to just work, but I know that's not always how things work. Speaking of working, fortunately, I did get the computer to run, and through Rufus, I forced a Windows 11 install on it. And then, of course, last night, my internet died, so I couldn't actually really do anything with it after that. I couldn't go install OBS or Firefox or set up anything on the computer, so I kind of just went to bed. Which is also why I stopped streaming last night, because of fucking Spectrum. Which leads me into the fucking Spectrum talk, because holy shit, man, fucking Spectrum is constantly fucking me over. Like, if I actually, made money doing this shit, I would constantly be losing money because of the fucking downtime with Spectrum. And I've thought about, maybe getting another ISP, but there's not really another option here except for T-Mobile. And I don't know if their plan offers gigabit speed, because that's what I pay for and use. And I'm pretty sure nobody else around here can offer that same level of speed. I would like to be wrong, but I don't know. I was out in St. Louis doing some shopping looking for a MST because I want to hook up this monitor here physically instead of casting it wirelessly, because you guys can't tell, but it constantly like flickers and has like resolution issues, and I don't like it because this is the monitor that I watch like videos on, and it being not a good video monitor defeats the purpose of it being the video monitor. So I'm going to just get in you need an MST3K. I don't know what that is. But the one I ordered is DisplayPort 2 3 HDMI, because I need 3 HDMI, because I have these two screens here that my fingers are touching are connected via one HDMI. This one needs to be plugged in, and then this screen on top of my computer that I look at Discord on, I need that to also be plugged into it to free up the HDMI slot physically on the card, because then once I get a capture card and send it to the other computer to do OBS, it's going to need a output from the GPU, so I need to free up the HDMI slot. So the MST will allow me to attach all of my current HDMI devices to one slot, freeing up one slot on the card because it only has 4. And since NVIDIA doesn't allow me to do the dual card setup that I want, I don't have all of the slots for monitors that I do want. So having the MST will allow me to hold my current setup and hopefully ship the next step of the setup. May eventually look into another one if I want additional monitors, but I think the setup I have is egregious enough and I don't need more, but you know. Greed gets you sometimes, I guess. Sam Bibley saying MST is Mystery Science Theater 3000. I've never seen that, so that's probably why I didn't know what that was.
It's a watch-along show.
Well, I know what it is, but I've never seen it. So, like, when I see MST3K, I don't think of Mystery Science Theater 3000 because I didn't see that, so I don't know that abbreviation / acronym. So, to me, I was talking about an MST, which is, I think, a multi-stream transport or transit hub. I think that's what it is. I read the acronym once and then was like, okay, I don't need to know what the acronym is. I just need to buy a device that does that thing. Yeah, and Spectrum really put a damper on my work on this stuff because it keeps knocking my internet down. Especially when I'm streaming, because I should have been able to finish Dead Space last night. Which is why I'm not going to go too long on this episode, because I am going to go live immediately again and start playing Dead Space again, because I really want to finish it tonight. Because tonight, after WATP, Mondays Weekly will be on this channel and the What's This Game channel. It's right there. The What's This Game channel. Covering Dead Space 2. So that should be... I want to say it's 9 Eastern, but knowing Carl, it'll be later than that, so we'll see. And again, if Spectrum doesn't knock out my fucking internet, because it seems to be like clockwork. Last night they said it was scheduled maintenance. If it was fucking scheduled maintenance, why don't I get an email or a text letting me know there's going to be maintenance? When I play a video game...
to avoid chargebacks.
When I fucking play a video game, they let me know, hey, there's going to be a downtime from this hour to this hour approximately. It could be shorter, it could be longer. It's usually shorter, but here's the approximate time. Sorry, you won't be able to log in and play the game during this time. Spectrum should be fucking obligated to let me know that same shit. Hey, you won't be able to do goddamn anything for the next 45 minutes because we turned off your internet because... And they don't even give you a reason of what the scheduled maintenance is. Can you tell me what you're doing? Are you replacing a wire? Is it a jumper box? Is it a transformer? Are you updating architecture on your side? Did somebody unplug a fucking power cord? Tell me what the fuck the scheduled maintenance is. I think that's only fair with the amount I'm paying you every month.
Well, they're not going to tell you that some piece of hardware failed and that we were replacing it as soon as possible. They're going to tell you it's scheduled maintenance. Because if it's just an outage, like what happened last week and the week before and the week before that, you can get credit back on your bill, and they don't want to pay that money out. So now they're, oh shit, something went bad. Everybody's about to lose internet. We'll send out an email real quick. It's scheduled maintenance. It's not. It's them covering their ass so they don't have to give you one red cent. Yeah, it is. And it's an organized monopoly. I don't want to get started on that, but while I'm talking, anyway, I'm going to shut up. I'm very chatty because I have a cup of coffee instead of tea. Starlink is another option, but it is also very expensive. But a lot of the bigger streamers, that's what they're doing for a backup. I think is something along those lines. Satellite-based.
It's just upsetting to me because I pay good fucking money for a service, and there's no other service that I pay for that just randomly is like, well, you can't use this. I don't pay my cell phone bill, and then randomly during the day, they're just like, man, you don't get to make phone calls and have text messages now. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen with my power. It doesn't happen with anything else that I pay a subscription fee for. It's just the internet. Fuck them. So maybe I will look into other ISPs, but I don't think there is another option. I don't think T-Mobile will have a comparable speed. And as somebody who streams a lot of shit, I don't want to compromise on bitrate because I'm currently outputting 15,000 kilobits per second, which is a lot higher than a lot of people, which is why I'm able to push 1440p. So, I like my setup, and I'm not going to compromise on it because of a possible cheaper deal. I pay for what I pay for because it's what I need. Anyway, speaking of what I need, the next thing I need for my computer setup is probably a capture card. I was at Micro Center, I was looking, and I asked, hey, do you guys sell them? And the guy pointed me in the right direction, and then instead of standing there and helping me find it, like which one I needed, he's like, do you need help? And I was like, yeah, great. And then he's like, okay, I'm gonna grab this guy, and then point to another guy, told him to come over, and then I waited there for over 8 minutes, and I was like, you know what, I guess you're not making commission today because I don't feel like just standing here all day. I want to go home. I guess once I figured the setup out and have it kind of more ironed out internally, I will figure out which capture card I need and what. I'll do some research on how to do a PC or 2 PC setup, and then I'll go figure out what I need and make sure I get a warranty on it and whatever, so I can just return it if it's not what I'm looking for. That's pretty much as far as where the PC build is going right now. I'm trying to make sure it doesn't take up too much of my time because the other stuff I do is important to me. Like hanging out with my friend Sean, who comes over on Tuesdays. I was worried I wasn't going to make Shmuel talk, but he came over early and we watched a shorter movie and stuff like that, so I was able to make it. We watched this first Scooby-Doo movie, which is, in my opinion, really, really good. It's corny, it's cartoony, it's silly, it's goofy, but that's exactly what Scooby-Doo is. And I was talking to my friend during it, and I said, this is why this did well, is because it didn't try to be like a serious movie. It didn't try to be like edgy or like a dark take or anything like that. No, it was like, this is a cartoon, but live action. Perfect. I think the movie went fantastic. The effects were just cheesy enough. It had, the chase scenes. It had the pop song that comes in the middle of it. The twist, not so twist villain at the end. I really liked it. I don't remember the second movie as much. I remember it, but not as much as in detail. I remember it not being as good because it tried to be a little bit more serious than the first one, which I think is to its detriment. In overall, I think it's a shame that there isn't currently a good Scooby-Doo, because Scooby-Doo is one of my favorite IPs. It's super good. I like it. I'm glad it's in public domain now, but as soon as it fell into public domain, that one girl did that Velma shit, and it really kind of fucked up the face of the new age of Scooby-Doo for people, and it objectively was kind of shit. I'm disappointed because I'm a huge Scooby-Doo fan, and it would have been nice to see something new, because as I was growing up, I had the old classic Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? What's New Scooby-Doo? And then followed up by Scooby-Doo Mystery Inc., which was fucking phenomenal. All three of those are so good, and then to have a little bit of a lull and then to come out with Velma was just oh man, fuck. This isn't even about Scooby-Doo. This like, it's not even about, it's like a stupid spin-off show that's not good and in an alternate dimension where she's black for some reason.
Can I ask you a question? Have you seen Scooby-Doo and, like, there's a Scooby-Doo and Friends where it's like Scooby-Doo with Don Knotts or Scooby-Doo with Batman and Robin. It's in the same era of the old. Okay, and then there's also a pup named Scooby-Doo where they're all kids.
I didn't like A Pup Named Scooby-Doo, and that's why I left it out of my listing of like the golden age of growing up. It's because that was definitely when I was growing up too, but I did not like that because because the other shows like kind of like fit together, and then A Pup Named Scooby-Doo was just like, here's just this weird thing that's off to the side, and it was like one of those baby shows, and it was more aimed at little kids and not like bigger kids who like trying to figure out the mystery before they pull the mask off the monster, you know? Like it seemed more about like silly kid shit, and it's fine, whatever. But maybe it was just, it wasn't for me, and that's why I didn't like it. It was just like, I thought it was animated well, and you know, it's fine. I didn't enjoy A Pup Named Scooby-Doo.
The only thing I really remember from it is the running gag of the red herring joke, where Fred always accuses this redheaded bully of being the bad guy, but his name is Red Herring, which is like, you know, the false trail moniker, like Chekhov's gun. You see it in the first act, you have to use it by the end of the story. Red herring is like, you know, a deliberate misdirection.
Sorry, Sam, I misspoke. What I meant to say is I want it to be public domain. Not that it is currently. Because if it was public domain, more people could pick up and do something with the IP. So, no, it is not currently. Fact-checking myself, it will become public domain in 2059. At which point, we could have the greatest show of all time, Sherlock Holmes and Mystery Inc. That'd be cool. Let's see what other notes I have before I wrap up. Hackamania tickets are dropping soon. They're teasing it on Twitter, and they said it'll be coming out this week and at the end of October. So there's only 3 more days in both of those categories. There's only 3 more days in October and this week overlaying in the Venn diagram. They could release it on the 1st, and that's technically just still this week, and so on the 2nd, but that's not in October. So, if they're going to be truthful to what they said, the last week of October, they only have today, tomorrow, and Halloween. So, I'm hoping the tickets come out because I am ready to start planning that trip because I like having things to look forward to. I have just heard a confirmation last night on Shmuel Talk that Echo Pineapple is planning his trip over to America for Hackamania 3. So that's really exciting. You go to supertip.gg/Echo to help him afford that, but mostly buy Rochi cigarettes because he needs those.
Hopefully we... first, Shmuel spilled the beans.
Yeah.
Echo messaged me. He was like, oh man, like I wanted to tell you guys, and I think humble brag, I think he was one of the first people he had mentioned in private, because I asked him, I was like, are you going to come to Hackamania 3 this year? Because, you know, you and I have been talking about it. And he was like, well, you know what, giving me that hemming and hawing, kind of beating around the bush. I was like, are you coming or no? And he was like, yeah, I made arrangements with the missus, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, man, great. And he was like, don't say anything. And so, you know, I filed it away. And literally, that means I forgot.
Right.
And then when he messaged me because of the show last night, I was like, oh, man. I was like, I remember you telling me. So
he messaged
it made
me
him feel
at
a
like
little less bad.
4 a.m. local, I think. Yeah, 4:24 a.m. local my time. He says, I can't believe Shmuel announced my news. I was going to reach out to you before, but I'll see you next year. So I'm super excited. I also asked him if he's going to get Lockie McDonald to make him a Echo Pineapple mask, which I think would be funny. But he said, I'm not looking for a mask or whatever. But it would be funny if he had some sort of costume because he's like one of the face filter guys, but if he just comes as himself, that's great. And I don't care. Do whatever you want, you know, be comfortable, do whatever you want. It's not comfortable to walk around in a mask all day. Ask Cardiff, he'll tell you.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think I would want to do that either.
All right. I have one more little topic here. Tomorrow and the next day, like I mentioned, I'm going to do like some sort of horror games. Tomorrow looks like it's going to be Layers of Fear 2. I didn't like the first game, but I'm going to put it in the beat it to delete it category and see if I can get through it all tomorrow. If not, then I'm just going to delete it. I didn't like the first game, so I doubt I'll like the second game. And then Evil Within the day after, and I think I'm off after that one because I need to do finalizing setup of all this crap. I want to also finish fucking finally downloading the Skyrim mods because issues keep coming up with that. And then the last topic is, I've mentioned him a couple times the last couple weeks, but if you're not subscribed to Patrick Michael's channels, you should, because they're interesting every once in a while when you click on it. I mentioned Crawl Space recently, but his other big one is, I want to get the @ actually right. I think it's like @Song of Sinners. Let me just, fuck. Do I just scroll down the list? How do you search your subscriptions? Do you know?
No, I don't. And guess what? I hate that. I wish YouTube would let me group my subscriptions, like nest them in a folder or something. Because I have music channels that I'm subscribed to, and I don't want those in the same I don't want them in the same list as my dabble channels, as my gaming channel. You know what I mean? They're all just in that long list on the side.
Okay, here, let me see if I can quickly pull this up. Click here, click there, click there.
I usually look in my history and try to think of something that I recently watched by whatever I'm looking for.
So this is his other channel, which is like about music and stuff. It's called Hank Mardukas with the like actual name, but the @ is Song for Sinners. So what he does here is he's got this. Oh, I'm not. Is it on screen? It is on screen. Okay. So as you can see here, he's got his little layout. Can I blow that up? There we go. All right, much better. So he's got this like living room or whatever he's sitting in. You can see like his posters on the wall. He's got the big screen TV here, and he's got a lamp over here in this corner. He's like looking at an angle, watching this TV here. And what he's doing is doing like commentary on whatever band or music is being played here. So he's listening to metal, but then he speaks over it. He pauses it and tells like he's talking like right now, like it's a tribute to something about a dungeon keeper. I don't know. This is a very interesting form of content for him. I really like that he's doing like music review sort of things, because he's very eclectic in his tastes and stuff like that. And it's funny that he's come kind of full circle on the song review thing, because the reason he stopped doing other people's podcasts is because somebody reviewed his songs to his face, but still. So it's really interesting, his different formats that he does, because his other show or his other channel, Crawl Space, does like comedy and other things, and he's like a different character than this guy, Hank Mardukas, who is like a metal fan. It's always interesting that he does all these characters that are all just different versions of him. And this one is currently really interesting because I hadn't clicked on it in a while. And then I saw that he's doing like music clip review things. I don't know, like Anthony Fantano, except not really. You know, it's kind of cool.
I like doing music stuff on YouTube. It's difficult though. You mentioned a channel that was having issues because they were not just music, but you said they were trying to.
Yeah, I'm listening to it right now. That's this little visualizer that's playing right here.
I don't know if you watch any other styles. Like you mentioned Anthony Fantano. There's other guys that do like that. They'll review a song or talk about a song, and they'll play bits and parts of it and they'll still get strikes. And it happened to Professor Iraq and a couple other guys, like bigger channels. Like Rick Beato is another guy that has played music to review, and it is legit fair use. They're stopping and pausing and commenting, but they're still receiving strikes because more than 10 seconds or so of the music is playing. It's ridiculous.
Music is way too strict. It's unfair. It's like it's an iron hammer they just swing around, ready to crush anyone's fingers that has their hand on the table for any amount of time.
Because I like that idea of not necessarily a review, but I don't know if you remember Pop-Up Video. It used to be on VH1 way back in the day, and they would play a music video, and little bits of trivia would pop up about, like, let's say the Ghostbusters
I kind of remember that.
and it would say. And a little bubble would pop up, and it would say Ray Parker was sued by Huey Lewis because of this song, blah blah blah. Like, so you can watch a video you've seen a million times, but now you're learning about the background of it. And I would like to do that on a channel, but I can't because I can't let music play.
Not on YouTube. No, the fucking UMC and so many other people, or UMG or whatever it is. They're fucking so huge,
yes,
and like I said, I think it's a great analogy. Like, the hammer is just constantly swinging, and if you put your fingers on the table, you don't know how long you can keep them there before they smack your fingers. Yeah,
some days it's 30 minutes, some days it's 45, other days it's 10.
The second you touch it, second you touch a table, bam, ow, sorry, jeez, okay, my bad, fuck, all right, no music today. Patrick Melton got his music, like, members thing, like, Content ID match blocked, like, multiple times. Like, it happens once, and then they're like, we're watching you.
Yes, you'll see, if you go look on my channel, I got a bunch of music playlists, and you'll see how some of them average about an hour and a half. And I was getting around it by playing not licensed music in between some licensed songs. But yeah, once you get that little ticker in the back and the end of studio, it's like, oh, we've detected copyrighted content. Even if it goes away, it comes back quicker the next time. It's like, herpes.
Yep. They don't mess around with that, and it's kind of annoying because music is so much of a lot of people. So, not being able to do anything with it on YouTube is a little ridiculous. But that's just the rules we live in currently. Maybe they'll get less intense. I mean, you can do that shit on Rumble and stuff, but it's still illegal, So, like, you're still just as vulnerable there just because they don't have bots to kill you, You're still breaking the rules, which is stupid.
Kill bots.
I pretty much have covered all the topics I want to for this week. Is there anything you want to cover before we get out of here?
Nothing to cover. I just want to continue to bitch about YouTube doing stupid updates. They updated the way theater mode works now. There's a bunch of... So your video will be up on top, like playing, and you can go into theater mode, which is, and it puts the chat on the side now, which is great. So if you're watching on a TV, you can see the video and the chat at the same time and be able to read it. But if you're on PC, when you're scrolling down, like if I want to leave a comment on a video that is already done, like not alive, there'll be a chunk of content pushed before you get to the comments because of the way it's laid out. It's so weird. I just don't like it. And the icons suck.
Yeah, the new UI is counterintuitive, and I will agree the icons and favicons and everything throughout the website now look a little bit too childish and cartoony. It looks like I'm accidentally on the kid version of the website.
Yeah, they're just ugh.
They look like they were made with Comic Sans. Mm-hmm. It looks like they were
I agree.
Drawn in Comic Sans. It's cartoony.
I like the way you put that. Yeah, when you said it before, yes, that's exactly right. They're just a little too cartoony. That thumb is a little too...
It's got too many ridges or something. I don't know, it's got there's something wrong with it. It's just, it's silly. But that's definitely a boomer take from both of us because it's just a UI switch. But
yeah, I know.
it just came out of nowhere. They didn't switch like other stuff too at the same exact time. They're just like, here's new buttons. It's like, okay, thanks.
Yeah, they did the same thing with the subscribe button when it went from being more of a squircle and now it's straight up just an oval.
Yeah.
Just little things like that, but they can't fix studio layout in the back. It's so unintuitive to use.
It's so fucking hard to use on mobile. Okay, like a really good example is last night when my internet cut out, I wanted to end my stream. So I waited for a little bit and then I hit end broadcast on OBS, which tells OBS to stop talking to YouTube. The problem is that signal never reached YouTube to let YouTube know OBS is done. So YouTube is just still hanging there over and over and over trying to reconnect because I don't have auto stop on because I don't want it to disconnect if I lose internet for a moment. So I'm just like, okay, cool. Well, I'll just log into my phone and go to the video and hit end broadcast. Except you can't do it on the regular app and you can't do it on the studio app. You seemingly, unless I'm retarded, you seemingly have to go to the website, go to your YouTube studio on the website, switch it to browser mode, select the video, go to the control panel in the little like sub menu on it. When you're in there in the top right, then you can hit end broadcast. You should just be able to do it from YouTube Studio. You should just be able to open YouTube Studio, click on the video that's currently live, and click end. And then it should be like, are you sure this will cut communication between you and your broadcast software? Yes. Boop. End software. Because I already did that. But it was just stupid that I had to go like and find this tiny little pixel to click on. Click that and then click on a subpixel. And I guess it's time to wrap up because my camera's cutting out. So I want to thank you all for joining. I'm going to be streaming Dead Space 2 again here in just a couple of minutes. So if you want to stick around, just wait for it to go live. So thanks for joining. And until then, we'll see you next time.